Hey y'all, so I want to show you something that just a couple months ago, Dr. Jonathan Haidt, who is a professor and researcher, author, etc., what he spoke about. This is interesting, and then I want to kind of expand upon it. So yeah, let's take a listen.
So that's what Greg and I tried to explain in our book. And at the heart of this all, it's been bureaucratized into DEI. And I just want to say, while diversity and inclusion, I think, are important goals, equity is not a salvageable concept because it means equality of outcome, not fairness, but equality of outcome. So that one I think can't really be saved. But the key thing is, and I'll get to this again, is the identitarian.
What's really interesting, I think, about what Jonathan Haidt's saying reminds me of another writer whose name I cannot recall off the top of my head. You can tell I really spend time researching for these videos. But I know Ibram X is at least half of his name. And so my apologies, I'll correct that in the description. But this individual has the idea that DEI, in addition to anti-racism, is the methodology through which we effectively eradicate racism. I probably articulated that, well, as best as I could, but probably not at all, or maybe even close to the way that Ibram X would describe his personal value system or philosophy. With that said, based on what I have heard this individual say, that he's not really interested in anti-racism because he's building a belief system upon the notion that white people collectively are the problem, and by that definition, nothing they do or say can ever help them get past their inevitable and uncontrollable skin pigmentation, something which no one on this planet has control over, but okay. So what's Dr. Haidt alluding to? Well, it's fascinating. He talked about the middle with equity in DEI. Dr. Haidt makes a very important point, and that is the notion that there's no way to control, it's not salvageable, this idea of an equality of outcomes, right? This is the whole this is what's so fun about playing poker, because you have to actually have some skill, unless you're gonna just cheat and then you're gonna count cards or what have you, scheme it and so forth. This is what we get, a bunch of bullshit. It's really all it comes down to. It is a way to keep a hierarchy in place. It's trying to just replace the hierarchy that's seen as like a historic and for centuries long white supremacist hierarchy, and it's in the desire to replace that with now a black supremacist hierarchy. I believe that it's probably what Ibram X, Kendi Ibram. I know there's Kendi's in there somewhere. Again, I'll get to it in the description. But anyhow, so this is what Ibram X is talking about, so far as I can tell. And I just don't see it happening. I don't see how you could, first of all, that's not a fun way to live, right? Let's think of it like poker. Like, how is that even a fun way to live? You already can say, well, let's just skip the process. Let's skip the whole thing. It's basically what Mitch McConnell was wanting to do when he didn't allow President Obama, former President Obama at the time, to even give a potential Supreme Court Justice Merrick Garland a hearing. This applies now to BDS, and the fact that divestment is the goal, right, of this movement on college campuses. Divest from Israel, committing genocide. Okay, why is this a really inconsequential movement, and a waste of your time. Because it's very simple. Even if you succeeded in getting the university that you go to divest from Israel, what they'll end up doing is divesting at the very most $1 million out of a budget that we all know is well over $1 million annually speaking, considering you guys pay each, or approximately $90,000 per year to go to a prestigious university, institution, what have you. And so, okay, that's going to be a drop in the bucket of money going towards Israeli companies to keep Israel, funded, in power, existing, etc. And so the end goal is not achievable. The chips that are manufactured to build the device that you use to make your TikTok videos, those come from Israel. And a lot of the apps that you're using were also designed in Israel. And so it's kind of pathetic, but again, as I've said before, enjoy the Intifada, have your fun. Hopefully you guys are, having some safe sex out there. And overall, just trying to keep each other safe, right? Because it's all about a ceasefire.